You were standing in the ultrasound room watching that first heartbeat flicker on the screen, and everyone is crying happy tears, hugging, talking about how this is the best thing that will ever happen to you. You smile and nod because that is what you are supposed to do. But driving home, this voice in your head whispers, I am not ready for this. I do not feel excited. I feel terrified. And then the guilt hits because what kind of person feels dread instead of joy when they are about to become a father? I am Dan, and I have been exactly where you are. Hit subscribe because this channel tells you the truth about fatherhood that nobody else will. If you have ever felt like you are the only guy not experiencing the magical pregnancy journey everyone promised, you are not alone. The gap between what we are told pregnancy should feel like and what it actually feels like is massive, and nobody wants to admit it. This video covers 5 brutal truths about pregnancy that nobody warns you about: the isolation, the relationship strain, the terror, the financial gut punch, and the days you will question everything. No sugarcoating, just honest preparation and permission to feel what you are actually feeling. Here is the thing nobody says out loud. Pregnancy is sold as universally joyful, but the reality for dads is often lonely, scary, and destabilizing. And admitting that does not make you a bad father. Point 1. The invisible dad syndrome. From the moment you announce the pregnancy, you become a supporting character in someone else's story. Every conversation is, how is mom feeling? How is the baby? Is she eating well? You are standing right there, also terrified, also adjusting, also facing life-changing transformation, but invisible. At baby showers, doctor's appointments, family gatherings, you are the guy holding her purse while everyone asks her questions. You exist to support, to provide, to facilitate. But your experience, nobody asks. Week 12, I sat in an OB appointment for 45 minutes. The doctor talked to my wife the entire time, asked her detailed questions, explained everything to her. I was 3 feet away, and not once did anyone make eye contact with me or ask how I was doing. Walking to the car, I felt this weird resentment I could not name. I knew she was the one carrying the baby. I knew her body was doing the impossible work, but I also felt erased. This matters because isolation during pregnancy predicts postpartum depression in fathers, but we pretend dads do not need emotional support. We act like because you are not physically pregnant, you are not going through anything worth discussing. That is garbage. You are about to become a father. Your entire life is changing. Your fears are real. Your adjustment is real. And being ignored through it hurts more than you expect. Here is the brutal truth. You will feel left out, and it will sting. You will watch everyone circle around her while you stand on the edge, and some days you will resent it even though you know she has it harder. That does not make you selfish. It makes you human. What to do? Name it to your partner without making it a competition. Try this. I know you are dealing with way more physically, but I am feeling pretty invisible in this process. Not to complain. Just to be honest. Find one other dad friend who will have the real conversation. Not the highlight reel version, the actual truth. Your feelings of exclusion are valid even though she is carrying the actual human. Both things can be true. Point 2. Pregnancy can wreck your relationship, at least temporarily. We are told pregnancy brings couples closer. Sometimes it does the opposite. She is exhausted, nauseous, hormonal, and touched out. Your sex life tanks. Conversations become logistics about doctors and registries instead of connection. You are scared and need reassurance, but she is barely surviving first trimester and cannot hold space for your anxiety too. Resentment creeps in on both sides. She resents that you get to sleep through the night and keep your body. You resent feeling like a paycheck and errand runner instead of a partner. Second trimester, my wife and I had the same fight 3 weeks in a row. I felt distant. She felt overwhelmed. I wanted her to ask how I was doing. She wanted me to stop needing emotional labor when she was growing a spine and kidneys. We were both right, We were both struggling, and neither of us had the capacity to fix it for the other. I remember thinking we are supposed to be excited together, and instead we are just exhausted and annoyed. This matters because half of couples report decreased relationship satisfaction during pregnancy, but admitting it feels like failing before the baby even arrives. We see Instagram posts of couples glowing at maternity shoots, and we think something is wrong with us when we are barely speaking by 8 p.m. Nothing is wrong. Pregnancy is hard on relationships. That is normal. Here is the brutal truth. You might fight more, feel more distant, and question your relationship during pregnancy. You might lie in bed next to each other feeling lonely. You might wonder if you still like each other. That does not mean you are doomed. It means you are in a massively stressful transition, and neither of you has extra emotional bandwidth. What to do? Lower expectations for romantic connection temporarily. This is survival mode, not honeymoon phase. Schedule 10-minute check-ins where you each get 5 minutes to say how you are really doing without the other fixing it. Not solutions, just listening. Remember that pregnancy is a temporary phase, not your permanent relationship state. You will get back to each other. Acknowledge she has it objectively harder while still claiming space for your experience. You can say, I know your body is going through hell, and I am not comparing our experiences. And also, I am struggling, and I need to be able to say that out loud. Point 3. The responsibility terror that hits at 3 a.m. There will be a moment, maybe during an ultrasound, maybe scrolling through cribs online, maybe just randomly at 3 in the morning, when the full weight hits you. A completely helpless human being will depend on you for everything, and you have no idea what you are doing. This is not cute first-time parent jitters. This is existential dread. What if you are not good enough? What if you mess them up? What if something goes wrong and it is your fault? Week 16, sitting in a Target parking lot after buying a crib, I had a full panic attack. Not cute nervousness. Actual chest tightness. Could not breathe. Overwhelming certainty that I was not equipped for this and had just ruined 3 lives. Mine, hers, the baby's. I sat there for 20 minutes before I could drive home, and I told no one because I thought it meant something was fundamentally broken in me. This matters because we are taught that confidence comes naturally to fathers, so this terror feels like a personal failure instead of a universal experience. Every dad advice column talks about stepping up and being strong, and nobody admits that most of us are secretly panicking. The silence makes you think you are uniquely unprepared. You are not. Here is the brutal truth. The responsibility will periodically crush you with panic. You will have moments where you are absolutely certain you cannot do this, and that fear does not make you unprepared. It makes you aware. The dads who scare me are the ones who are not afraid. Fear means you understand the stakes. That is actually the main requirement for being a good dad. What to do? Talk to dads who have survived it and ask them when the terror stopped. Spoiler, it does not stop. You just get better at functioning while afraid. Write down your specific fears so they stop looping in your head. Seeing them on paper makes them smaller and more manageable. Reframe fear as evidence that you give a damn. You are not broken, you are awake. And that is better than being confidently clueless. Point 4. The financial panic nobody accurately describes. You have seen the articles that say babies cost $12,000 the first year or whatever. And you think, okay, we will budget. Then you start actually looking at costs. Childcare is $1,500 to $2,500 monthly. If she takes unpaid maternity leave, you lose half your household income for weeks or months. Your insurance deductible for delivery is $6,000. You need a different car. Your one-bedroom apartment is not cutting it. Suddenly, you're staring at $30,000 to $50,000 in first-year impact, and the background hum of financial anxiety never stops. I remember the night I made the spreadsheet. Added up childcare, medical costs, lost income, new expenses. The number at the bottom made me nauseous. I kept recalculating, hoping I had made a mistake. I had not. We were about to be financially squeezed in ways we were not prepared for, and I felt this crushing pressure that I was the one who had to figure it out. This matters because money stress is the #1 predictor of relationship conflict, but we treat it like something you just figure out. We do not talk about the actual numbers. We do not name the panic. And dads especially feel pressure to have it handled because we are still fighting generations of provider mentality even when both partners work. Here is the brutal truth. You will feel more financial pressure than you anticipated. You will lose sleep over money. You will possibly resent that the burden falls heavily on you, even when that is not fair or logical, and no amount of budgeting eliminates the anxiety completely. You can prepare, but you cannot make it not scary. What to do? Have the actual numbers conversation with your partner in second trimester. Total cost, total income changes, total savings, total oh shit fund. Do not guess. Get real numbers. Make a catastrophe plan. What if someone loses their job, gets sick, has complications? Hoping for the best is not a plan. Accept that you cannot eliminate financial anxiety, only prepare for it. And give yourself permission to feel the pressure without shame. It is real, it is heavy, and feeling it does not mean you are failing. Point 5. Some days you will not want this, and that is normal. Here is what nobody says out loud. There will be days during pregnancy when you think, what have we done? You will see friends traveling, sleeping in, spending money on themselves, living spontaneously, and you will feel trapped. You will look at your partner exhausted on the couch and think our life is over. You will feel ambivalent, maybe even regretful. And then you will feel crushing guilt because you are supposed to be grateful and excited every single day. Week 22, I watched a friend post photos from a last-minute trip to Mexico, and I felt this dark wave of envy and loss. My life was becoming doctor's appointments and nursery planning and budgets. His was still freedom, and I thought, I made the wrong choice. Then immediately hated myself for thinking it. What kind of person resents their unborn child? This matters because shame about ambivalence isolates you and makes you think something is wrong with you, when actually fluctuating feelings are neurologically normal during major transitions. Your brain is mourning your old life while trying to prepare for your new one. That creates emotional whiplash. It does not mean you do not want to be a father. It means you are human. Here is the brutal truth. Commitment to a choice and enthusiasm for a choice are not the same thing. You can be fully committed to becoming a father and still have days you mourn your old life. You can love your partner and future child and still grieve your freedom. Both are true simultaneously, and that does not make you a bad person. What to do? Stop policing your feelings. You are allowed to grieve what you are losing while preparing for what you are gaining. Tell one safe person the truth. Some days I am scared we made a mistake. Saying it out loud takes its power away. Distinguish between fleeting feelings and actual desires. Feeling ambivalent today does not mean you want to undo this. It means today is hard. Remind yourself that you can hold, this is hard, and I am mourning my freedom, and I am committed to this journey at the exact same time. You do not have to feel one thing. You are allowed to be complicated. Here is what I wish someone had told me during pregnancy. You are not failing because you are struggling. The gap between the grateful, excited dad you are supposed to be and the terrified, ambivalent dad you sometimes are, that gap is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is evidence that you are paying attention. Every fear you named in this video I felt. Every resentment, every moment of panic, every day of ambivalence. And my kid is 3 now, and I am a good dad. Not because I figured out how to stop being afraid, because I learned to be afraid and show up anyway. You do not need to have it all together. You do not need to feel excited every day. You do not need to pretend this is easy. You need to be honest. You need to ask for help. You need to give yourself permission to be human. That is it. That is the whole job. If this helped, send it to another dad who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more honest fatherhood content. And remember, struggling does not mean you are broken. It means you are awake. And that is exactly the kind of dad your kid needs.